Welcome back. It does 2 pings. Google,
Oh,
you're killing me, man.
I can't hear the pings.
I do because I'm in the control panel.
Got it.
Welcome back.
Threw it all off. We're out of practice.
So I was watching with Bob and Dave on Netflix last night, and they had their own time machine where they sat in a porta potty for 16 years, and they thought they were traveling through time.
Seems depressing.
It is depressing. It's actually the complete opposite of what Barry does. But that's basically what's happened here the last 3 weeks, between Thanksgiving and me kind of forgetting one time.
Yeah.
We are
It's
suddenly 3 weeks in the future with our first TYF DC debrief in a little while. So welcome back. This is your one-stop shop for all your Detective Comics lore in the TV domain. Now with interdimensional flavored drama and space-time busting arrows, and sometimes a staff of horrors. How do you pronounce it?
Horrors.
Horrors.
I couldn't.
Let me tell you. Writing my my review for Arrow last night, I'm like, I should probably look this thing up before I spell it the wrong way.
Probably. I know, because I couldn't tell they were saying like Taurus either.
I don't know. I'm Evan Griffin. Hosting along with me is...
I'm Allison Johnson. Yeah. What?
And we're either contained in your YouTube video screen or in your precious earbuds on your Apple iPod or something like that. Or Google Play if you're one of those Android guys. Either way, this is the DC Debrief podcast. Where we're going to be covering actually more than usual this week, because not only are we got some good stuff going on with Supergirl. We had our heroes join forces #Flaro. And we had a bit of news revolving around these shows and the Batman vs Superman trailer. So, holy shit.
Yeah, a lot going on. So most of it was good. I'll save what I didn't like for the end.
Oh, okay. Wait, the trailer or Heroes Join Forces?
The trailer.
Yep. We'll talk about the trailer. We'll talk about the trailer at the end.
At the end, where it belongs.
Where it belongs, because we're a TV podcast. So we should just start off with this big crossover thing first, huh?
Yeah. Instant opinions.
Instant opinions. It was fun as shit. I already started going. I somehow just ended up reviewing half of a Flash episode out of nowhere.
I know.
And you ended up reviewing half of an Arrow show out of nowhere.
I know.
They were tonally exactly the same, and it fit for both shows. Whereas last year, obviously the plot was not continuous, but the characters in the Flash episodes were very much like these characters are in a Flash episode, or vice versa. This is the same. It's the same show. Also,
Arrow last year benefited more from getting to take part in the Flash show and the Flash coming to visit them than this year, where I feel like it was more of an equal balance. It was like both got to kind of pick up new things that they didn't have on their own as a series, whereas last year was very much like, oh my god, Arrow got a facelift, thank god. But that's just speaking to how much better this year is for Arrow. But instant thoughts for me was I really enjoyed it, and I think kind of my like fan brain overtook my critic brain for like a large portion of the episodes.
I noticed when you immediately used a Hawk Girl gif from that animated show in your review. So.
Because to me it's like Kid Alley and Geek 20-something Alley were like coming together and super pumped that like for the most part the Justice League was on screen.
Yeah, like, you literally just you're cutting out 3 characters, and you just whatever, throw in 3 characters that we're going to be talking about later, and you have a Justice League that exists. So
it's essentially kind of like the cartoon where, there'd be episodes focused on just this pocket of the Justice League, and this, these characters get a highlight. And that's kind of what these 2 episodes were to me. So for me, I was just so excited to see, my favorite characters coming up on screen. So no matter what, and there were some issues, contrivances to get the Flash people over to the Arrow side. Like, okay, really, like, how is Oliver going to protect Kendra better? But, like, you kind of ignore it because it had this cinematic quality over the 2 episodes. You know, like, it felt like an hour and 30-minute movie rather than 2 episodes of television.
It did feel kind of big budget, didn't it? And it almost makes me wonder if I heard somebody gossiping on some other podcast, like, is Legends of Tomorrow gonna, how big of a budget does that show have, and will it last more than 1 season because of that? Is it gonna get the views? And as a giant, this show's gonna be a space epic. This could be Battlestar Galactica, Doctor Who levels of effects.
Yeah, no. From what I've read, the worry is that it's an expensive show. Yeah. Like a very expensive show. So if they don't get a certain viewership, it might not be worth it to bring it back. Or they could do the typical blockbuster thing when the first movie makes a lot of money and they cut the budget because they already have the fan base. So like even if it looks shitty, the fans are coming back. So they don't need to spend as much money. But yeah, no, I thought it looked really good. I don't know, it's cinematic. I guess that's really all I have for an overall opinion, is that it felt big. And I loved that.
I don't know how you want to, this is a weird dynamic. How do you want to, do you want to like cover some of the flash pointers or something?
Well, how about,
it's the same thing.
I'll attack it in the way that I text in my reviews sometimes. Let's talk about the Hawks first.
Yeah.
General feelings on them.
Carter is kind of a
dweeb.
Kind of a cock or a hawk.
Yeah. You went so much further than I did. I was using like 2nd grade insults. Yeah, no, I thought butthead. But yeah, no, I thought Carter was kind of lame, but Kendra has the potential to be amazing. But again, I love Hawk Girl. I want her to be Hawk Girl. Like, I still want to be Hawk Girl. I think she's awesome. So I liked once she started to get to kick a little bit of ass, I was like super pleased. But I'll be interested to see if they make these 2 characters be like actual lovers, just because history tells them they should be, because I feel like they could be more interesting apart.
Yeah, I think so too. And I felt like by the end of all of these shenanigans, that she still had a really quality chemistry with Cisco.
Me too.
And whether she's going off with Carter because she feels like she has to make some changes in her life or just follow some kind of new path, I don't think she's got any kind of romantic thing, even though they got the stupid Anakin Skywalker rolling in the glass and she ends up on top of him bullshit. That's just because she's trying to rage. She's trying to Hulk out or something like that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I've heard their storylines in the comics are super convoluted, and this was probably like the easiest way to roll it out.
Probably. All we know is that between the 2 timelines where this whole thing takes place, Cisco's the one that can get her to that sentence is going to end terribly. Spread her wings.
That's not as bad.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say something else.
No, I just was worried how it was going to sound.
Not how I think you thought it was. But yeah, so overall I like them. I like the way they did the costumes.
Yeah, it didn't look entirely hokey.
Yeah, and like, well, I mean, I overall think that the shows have done a really good job with their costumes so far, period. Like, they don't make them so, like, stripped down that it's like, okay, you are a superhero show. You can have them have the emblems and stuff and be a little silly in the masks. So but they also haven't gone past the point of like reality. Like, they seem like they're useful suits. Like, they're suits that people would go into battle with,
Well, also, these 2 have been around since the Egyptian era.
Yeah.
It's like they've been around they've been reincarnated for millennia. These costumes are going to seem like there's something from that age.
Exactly. And I thought the helmet, when they showed it for the first time, was a really awesome reveal, especially for fans of the character. Like, it looked like it was lifted straight from the page. So I liked them for the most part. It just like the only problem with them was the whole time you're like, they're not a part of the Flash universe, like they're so going to be a part of the Legends of Tomorrow, so it's like everything they didn't really have any kind of weight to the overall effect of the episode, just because I know that like they're going off to another show at the end of the hour.
It makes you wonder, though, how much they're really banking on success of Legends of Tomorrow, because the last several episodes of both of these shows, two of CW's most successful current shows, they have been setting up a cast of characters for an entirely different show.
Yeah,
I think the last solid month for both shows.
We're gonna see how it goes, but I mean, like, it just goes to, if it doesn't do well, it'll just go to show you how charming everybody found Grant Gustin as the Flash and that little backdoor pilot of his and Arrow, because that's how he got, you know, they introduced him and then he got his own show. So they're kind of doing the same thing here. And
he still has so much instantaneous chemistry with Emily Bett Rickards and Stephen Amell and all that, because he was cast to have a dynamic with them at first in the first place.
Yeah. So I'll be interested, but they're also taking characters that, like, we've known for a while. Like, we knew Ray Palmer all last season. We knew Sarah for 2 seasons. So, like, we knew Captain Cold all through last season. So, I mean, the only real new characters are, you know, Hawk Girl and Hawkman. I just want to change pace a little bit because it's kind of on a similar thread. But Vandal Savage, I want to talk about him because he, in the same vein as the Hawks, was that, you know, like, he's interesting and he's a great villain for, like, comic books, but he so obviously isn't the threat to the Flash and Arrow. So you know, like, he's being set up also. So again, it's like, sure, like, his powers were crazy and seeing him completely demolish a city was, you know, impressive, but we know he's not going to stick around for these series.
No, and I found the interpretation of this version of the character really interesting because I know him probably as much as you do from the animations previously. Like, I remember him being on Young Justice, and he's very much a character that's decisive and methodical, a kingpin type in a way. He's just a tactician almost. He's, like, been around for so long. He's that kind of guy who has a knowledge of a millennia of history, and he's trying to manipulate the world in his favor. This guy is just greasy and sharp, and he's basically like they turned him into a DC version of Kraven the Hunter from Spider-Man is what I felt like. But that's okay because he's physical, he can get into a fist fight, but I'm wondering when they set him up for this new show, is he going to have this continued obsession with Hawkman and Hawkgirl, or now that he's been killed by them, if he's not going to give a crap. Also, goddamn you, Malcolm Merlyn!
Oh, fucking hell, Malcolm Merlyn. Sorry.
Dirk!
I am so ready for him to go.
Somebody was tweeting that every time he came on screen this week in both episodes, it's like a WWE entrance where he just, like, appears out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, that's Barry. Yeah, Barry pointed that out in the episode, which I thought was funny. Allowed him to be, like, typical Flash humor. Yeah, I can't stand him, but I don't know.
No,
what do you think?
Think of what?
No, continue.
Oh, I was just gonna say I like putting. It's the same for the same reason that I like watching the Avengers. I like watching 2 different core groups of characters all of a sudden in a sandbox together and seeing how they kind of snip back and forth with each other. Like, Thea didn't really know that they had any connection with the Flash somehow.
Yeah, I like that.
Diggle pukes every single time that Barry zooms him from point A to point B.
I know. I loved it. That's what I'm saying too, is like I love all the characters coming together. It makes it bigger and better, and I think the personalities always play off each other really well. And
it obviously makes for some of the best stunts of the season of each respectively. So
yeah, and also, you know what? Like, Stephen Amell and Grant Gustin have a really great on-screen rapport. Like, they really make sense. And again, it's like, I think it's some of the best acting Stephen Amell does is when he's acting with Grant Gustin, because he gets to be a little sillier, kind of big brothery and, like, dismissive.
I find that Stephen Amell has a hard time on screen just not laughing when Cisco or Grant says something.
Yeah, no, Carlos Valdez.
He's trying to say something serious, but he's just, like, holding it back.
I know. Well, you know what? That's kind of how I like the character to be these days at this point. You know, I like that he's a little silly. Also, while we're speaking about acting, I think he did his best work this week with when he was talking to Felicity, and he's like, "Can you, like, give me a moment to deal with the fact that I just learned I'm a dad? You know, my life is imploding." So I thought,
she really kind of gives him an ultimatum there.
I thought she was kind of a pain in the ass in that scene, but I think it was a writer's really contrived way of causing drama so that he wouldn't be in his own headspace. But yeah, I thought he did a great job.
The way I perceived that was them setting up the alternate timeline in the exact same way. It was about this time last year where Barry finds himself ghosting for the first time, and then all of a sudden he breaks the time barrier, and he goes backwards. So they were setting up something that was so dramatic that it has to come out the opposite way in the alternate timeline.
I know.
Especially since he dies.
I get that, but my problem is that they did it in such a way that it like takes Felicity out of character. Like they could have done it in a way that was more natural instead of you lied for a second, I'm going to break up with you. Therefore, you're not going to be on your A game. Things are going to happen. Barry's going to have to travel back in time.
I guess I didn't interpret it that way because the way I gathered it was that a big theme for this whole season is Oliver trying so hard to atone for all the lies he's made over the years.
Yeah, but the whole idea is that Felicity grew up. Yeah. Well, like Felicity grew up without a dad. That's in her characterization, you know. She would think that for a second she wouldn't jump to a conclusion. And I just thought it was a little too quick. That was like, it was one of my only problems with the episode. It was just like, and I don't like Felicity that much, you know. I usually don't care if I find her unlikable. My problem is that I found her completely out of character. So I think when shows do that, it just turns into a bit of lazy writing. It's like, we get that you needed to get to that point. Like, we know the time travel had to happen for the storyline to work, and the time travel was awesome. It was really cool to watch again. But next time, you know, do it a little smoother. Since
we're on we're kind of jumping around a little bit with our thoughts, but since we're on this point about that reaction that Felicity had and the changing in the timeline, I know we've been pegging the gravestone being Lance, but Quentin, but I almost feel is this the nail in Felicity's potential coffin if it's come down to Barry warning Oliver about changing the destiny of the timeline, especially
like who do you think it's gonna
like thinking that it's going to be Felicity and lying to her is going to come back to bite him somehow?
Well, I think no matter what, lying to her is going to come back to kick him in the ass, but I don't think that means she's going to die.
Okay.
If that's what you
mean. Was just because that seemed like a very important thing that Barry was trying to get across to Oliver, very specifically about what happens with Felicity. And sure, it worked short term getting his head in the game. But yeah, I didn't know what the long term consequences of changing the timeline was going to be, because obviously that never works.
Yeah, no, I still don't see Felicity dying. I think there'll be some kind of effect. I don't want her to die.
I don't want her to die. I'm just trying to figure out what they're setting up there.
Well, I think something will likely change, obviously, or maybe nothing will at all. Maybe it was just to show that Oliver and Barry have very different ways about going about fighting crime, you know? Like, Oliver sees this as an opportunity to fix things. Barry sees the larger picture. So I think, so I'm not sure if that's what that means. Because I think the show loves Felicity too much. And I also don't think Barry would have missed the funeral. Remember, he like runs in the last second and says, "Sorry, I missed it." Like, yeah, I don't think how much they like kind of adore each other that like he would miss it. That's why I think it has to be somebody a little smaller than that Barry would still show, but that's not a monumental character. It
wasn't 100% important to him. Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know. Oof. Roy's coming back for an episode. Maybe he'll die.
Whenabouts? When?
The 12th episode, I think I read.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else was there?
Oh
yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I was making note about how when they picked up with Arrow last night, it was very much a very Age of Ultron moment where it's like, all right, halftime break, let's all go on a rural sabbatical.
Well, that's what they made a joke about that.
Did they?
No, Thea or Felicity said, "Oh, superheroes at a farm. I feel like I've seen this in a movie."
Did they really say that? I had people talking over me watching the episode last night, and it was pissing me off.
I know, I didn't. But no, she definitely said that. I laughed a lot at that actually. I don't know.
It was really fun. What else did I? Yeah, no, it's just overall it was really good. We pretty much covered everything there.
I know, we can fly on over to Supergirl.
Did you just make a pun?
That
was good.
I thought so.
Brownie
clever,
points.
clever.
We have Supergirl. I've actually been keeping up with.
Me too.
Well, because you're reviewing it.
I skipped 2 episodes accidentally.
Did you really? Because I watched the Thanksgiving episode with.
I watched them both. Things got crazy the last couple of weeks, and I wasn't able to write 2 of my reviews. I wrote a review for this week because I really ended up enjoying it. But
yeah, Red Tornado.
Yeah, well, I think it was my only problem with it. I thought the design was kind of.
Okay, well, the design was released in official images like a couple months ago, and everybody's like, "That looks stupid." And then I saw it in live action, and it looked goofy, but it worked.
I don't know. I think it should have been a little bit better. Like, I feel like they should have blended pieces better instead of it just looking like he was wearing like a cardboard cutout on his arm. But otherwise, I really liked the episode.
You totally.
Which, by the way, I did review
you
this.
Didn't like his little rotating hands?
I know. I was just like, God damn it. But
That's good.
I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, have we found out a purpose for Win yet? God, I don't give a shit.
He seems to have some kind of good hacking skills. He's become the Felicity of Supergirl.
But less charming.
Yes.
Like we don't even need him. Like, we needed Felicity to be
he's only there for the romance contrivance.
Ugh. But on to more important things.
Such as Hank is the Martian Manhunter, maybe?
Maybe. I saw that too, and I kind of don't want him to be a bad guy.
Well, you know why? Because of the red eyes.
Yeah, but some people also thought it was like a droid version, or not a droid. What am I thinking of?
Is LMD
when you're
DC version or
when you're half robot, half human?
The DC and Marvel each have a phrase for it, and Marvel's is life model decoy, and I can't remember what the shit.
No, I mean like in real life.
What, like a cyborg?
Yes, that's what I meant. Okay.
You think he's cyborg?
No. Some people thought.
Booyah.
Say it. That he was like cyborg Superman or something like that.
Oh.
I'd have to Google it now, but I won't do that right now.
like Steel?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I feel like that was a theory, but I like the Martian Manhunter better. Clearly.
Yeah.
I just don't want him to be a bad guy.
Well, Martian Manhunter is traditionally, when he's in his human disguise, he's black anyway, but not that matters, but.
No, but it would still be nice. I don't know. I want that character to be interesting so badly. So if they could do that on this show, that'd be great. But yeah.
One of my primary notes, Lucy Lane's kind of a dick.
Yeah,
about her opinions of Supergirl anyway.
I know. I think it was just caused drama and it was stupid, but I like that so far there's no tension, really hatred between the two girls because they both like James.
Yeah, so I really liked that they were playing that stupid game at the dinner party or whatever, and her being all awkward. I felt like in that scene was probably the highest quality of her being awkward that I've seen so far.
Yeah.
But can I say one thing that I very specifically liked about this episode was the climax of it. I felt like that big the battle act of it was probably the best one that the season has had so far. Very specifically, it's not just her being angry. It was the match cuts of her sister fighting the doctor with her fighting Red Tornado and the laser eyes and the editing, flashbacks. It was so good.
Evan, I said in my review that the laser eyes bit was my favorite thing the show's done, period, so far.
Yes.
Easily the best thing. It was like a knockout moment. It's like you totally understand what she's going through then. And I thought Melissa Benoist really channeled some rage that I didn't think she'd be capable of. Because she's so sweet. You just watch her and you're you are just joyful and fun to watch. So to see her actually push through some anger like that, I thought was fantastic. But yeah, I thought style-wise, the best thing the show has done, period. Like, easily. Did you notice also that Alex's character, like, and whoever is doing the stunts for her, or maybe she's doing them herself, kicks some serious ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's a brutal fighter.
And then another thing that you noted in your review was how, actually, I liked it this week, very specifically, her dynamic with Ally McBeal. I can't remember the character's name.
Cat Grant.
Cat Grant.
Yeah.
Just Cat Grant.
I loved it.
Yeah, no, her martini emotion talk went really well, despite the fact that she didn't mean it other than to offend her mother, her defending her. Like you said, it's a progression of the relationship between these two characters that you would never expected first meeting her.
I thought she was going to, suffer by being the one-note kind of antagonist character, and the fact that they've given her so much depth really speaks to how the show wants to, like, promote female relationships. And let's just, like, quickly draw some notice to the fact that this entire episode was about how women aren't allowed to show anger in a workplace setting like men are. And I think that is just so important, especially the idea that young girls are watching this show. And it is true, if a woman gets mad in a workplace, it's like, oh, what a bitch. If a guy gets angry in a workplace, it's like, oh, well, he's just passionate about what he's feeling. And it's just kind of bull. And then for James to also be like, yeah, right. And then it's James also saying, black men aren't exactly encouraged to show anger either. I was like,
yeah, that punching match, despite the fact that her punching the car was a little hammy, but it was, but it made me laugh. The conversation between the two of them worked really well. So
yeah, and I guess I was impressed by CBS for going there. It would have been easy for the show to do the first episode that was super, like, female progressive and, like, really on the nose, making sure we understood what message they're throwing out, and then kind of, like, dialing it back. And they've just gotten more and more heavy-handed with it, which to me, like with Agent Carter, some people complained that it was too much, that they were too much on the nose about sexism, and I'm like, well, it's because everything else isn't at all.
Also, that might just be like they were representing what that was at that time, and believe it or not, it was really bad at that time. So it's kind of like, maybe you're the one who's looking at it with a modern sensibility, huh?
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying, is that people got annoyed because they're like, oh, well, they're making it too cartoony. It's like, or maybe this is what people experience.
Also, it's a fucking comic book show, guys.
I know. It's just, so everything's going to be a little drawn out. But yeah, no, I really loved how they handled that. I loved the fight. It was a good episode.
So can we talk about then, since we've come to the conclusion that it's a good episode, fucking bleeding? What?
Oh yeah, she drained her powers with her eyes.
Well, I was like, I didn't see the next week promo yet, so I was like online, like looking like, what happened? What causes Kryptonian to lose their powers? What the shit is going on? Is it red kryptonite? Is there a red sun going on? Is there like somebody like leaded her drink with kryptonite, something like that? And it's like, no, she just blew out her powers.
Oh my god, I know.
But it could be a very interesting, emotionally poignant episode, not necessarily in a Spider-Man 2 way, but in a Buffy the Vampire Slayer kind of way.
Yeah.
Like the one episode of Angel where, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Superhero shows tend to recycle, but it's okay.
Well, when you gotta meet deadlines, you gotta do the inking and the coloring and the publishing and the writing, and it's all gonna happen like every 2 weeks or whatever. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. But I think it will be good because it will kind of reinforce the idea that she's a hero even without her powers, which is nice. Yeah. Are we talking about Batman versus Superman yet? Have we gotten there?
We can, but I got a couple of news pieces on the show.
Okay. Do the news first. I'll bottle my
Did you see about Supergirl?
That they got back 7 order?
They got an order of an extra 7 episodes.
I did. I'm very pleased.
Yeah. So that should be good. And then secondly, I sent you a link. Photo galleries are released. Wally West. Wally West on the Flash next week.
Too. Do you think
and Mark Hamill as basically the Joker.
Yeah, killing it. But so we think Wally West is going to be taking that drug, right?
The one that Jay took?
Yeah. That's my guess. I'm putting my guess out there now, so everybody listening will know. Even if it comes out completely wrong, which I do a lot. That is my guess. Theory. Whatever.
So did Jay get his Speed Force back?
Just
I know
like
we're totally
second.
backtracking.
Just for like a second. Yeah, but that's because Jay's stuff was boring. He is boring.
Really, you know what? He is worse than Superman right now. He is like a false god. This guy. Okay.
He's preachy and annoying, and I'm sick of him.
Like, he isn't a Boy Scout. He's fucking selfish and self-righteous.
Yeah.
And a douche.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Chris Angel. Chris Angel's a douche. Chris Angel, mind freak.
Okay.
Never mind. So, so that holy shit, Batman versus Superman, Dong of Gustin. I hated it.
Me too. I thought it was so stupid. I want to like it.
Said me too so hardcore that you broke your microphone.
What?
You said me too so hardcore that you broke your microphone.
It works now though.
Yeah. So we both hated this trailer, and everybody else is in love with it.
It looks so stupid. Like it's just like I understand what the idea is. And, like, for a second, just, like, with the two characters at the beginning, like, Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent, just, like, talking, and, like, him saying, like, Gotham's used to freaks dressed up as clowns or whatever. Like, I thought that was interesting and well-scripted. That's cool.
That's totally a line for a trailer. Yeah.
And then Jesse Eisenberg came over, like, chewing some fucking scenery, like, nobody's business. And I was just like, no.
Like, what's he trying to do there? Like, what is he doing? Like, he's like,
this is what critics likes. Or critics will hate this.
What was he? There's no character. There's
I know.
A version of Lex Luthor.
Isn't he supposed to be like Lex Luthor's like son or something?
No.
No?
Maybe.
Never mind.
I have no idea, and I don't care. He was an annoying little snot.
Here's like the problem for me for the trailer is that we know exactly what's going to happen now. Okay? Batman, Superman.
I could probably tell you the entirety of what's going to happen in the movie, and that can make it sound better.
I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen in the movie, okay?
I will raise my hand if I want to include something.
Batman and Supes start out hating each other. Bang, 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 fight, all orchestrated due to Lex Luthor. Then they start to not be fighting as much, so Lex Luthor sends in Doomsday, which we weren't that aware he was going to be in the movie, so that's a big spoiler. And
we already knew he was going to be in it anyway.
I didn't know that much, but then boom, boom, boom. They have to fight together to stop Doomsday, and in comes Wonder Woman in another spoiled scene that would have been a lot better if we saw it in the movie without having seen it before. Well, Dawn of Justice.
It's like in the Heart of the Sea. I guarantee you, they blew it. They blew their wad in the trailer.
The Heart of the Sea
with the whale surprise.
I mean, if you know Moby Dick, you know in the Heart of the Sea. That's the bit of a difference.
There's a difference between knowing what happens and having the visual surprise of it spoiled for you.
Yeah. No,
you know
I thought Wonder Woman appearing in that moment was that. It was spoiled for us. And I still am not convinced on any of the actors playing the leading roles. Any of them. Batfleck, boring Cavill, and not my Wonder Woman. No it.
Also, I'm pretty sure Ben Affleck is wearing a wig in this movie.
Or those luscious locks. Bullshit.
Also, hold on. Did you see the thing that was trending? People were judging the sneak peek that came before, where it's like the Superman SS have him tied up. Superman's hand is so powerful. Not only did he rip off the bat cowl, he also ripped off his eye makeup.
I didn't
see like the black eye makeup smudged around in his eyes. Pulls the mask, it's gone.
Can we talk about why is Batman wearing a trench coat? Like, he had to be in disguise as Batman?
This must be, like... I almost wonder if half of the movie is, like, Fistful of Dollars with Batman by accident or something like that.
I just like maybe it will end up being amazing and will sound like tools. I mean, I
No.
hope it ends up being amazing because I
This
love
is
the
Zack
character.
Snyder we're talking about. Name his best movie.
Sucker Punch.
No, I hated that
I'm not
movie.
being ironic. I'm not joking.
But you liked it because there was girls in it. If it was all guys, that movie would be garbage.
No, I liked. No.
Really?
I hated movies before that have women in it, Evan. That's not my deciding factor.
I'm just saying that was a cool quality of it.
No, I think it had a lot to say and it just did a bad job at it. I think there's a very interesting movie in Sucker Punch. I don't think it's a great movie. I just have feelings on it that I wish I could verbalize, but I never seem to be able to. But yeah. No,
Okay.
so yeah.
So
Screw this trailer.
after that, maybe his best movie is Watchmen.
I haven't even seen it.
Well, it's a little slow.
Because I don't like his style. It's overindulgent and like video gamey. That was my thing watching the trailer last night. I was like, it looks like a video game. It looks like what was that one? Injustice or something.
Injustice Gods Among Us, which had a fantastic plot in which Superman becomes a dictator and punches the Joker's heart through his body.
Yeah, and it had the same CGI as this trailer. So.
And I'm sure that video game has a better plot than we're going to see in this thing.
Again, hopefully not.
If you if you think that our opinions are terrible, call us out. But yeah, I'll
call us assholes because then we'll just ignore you.
I'll fisticuffs.
Because you want to know what? Name calling on the internet is lame. But yeah, call us out on it because it's fun. We need more people to debate with. But yeah, that was about it. Right?
There's nothing to debate. This trailer was dumb.
It was really fucking dumb.
At least the first trailer, there was kind of like something going on there.
Because they didn't allow anybody to talk.
Look, the Civil War trailer was so good.
Well,
I've watched it 5 times.
I still had issues with that too, because it was obviously not done with their CGI either. But
they have almost a year for their extra post work, so
they have until May.
I'm just saying, J.J. Abrams is still editing Star Wars right now.
No, I know, but
they got some time.
No, I don't want to draw comparison because I'm still like tentatively excited about Civil War. I'm definitely not full out, but this isn't a Marvel podcast. I'll tell you about this after.
Okay.
But,
all right. Well, if you have any strong opinions about Heroes Join Forces or the Batman vs Superman trailer, you do. Whether you loved it or hated it like we did.
We know you do.
Tweet us. You can hashtag #FlashXArrow so that the writers' rooms actually get our feedback. They see what we're thinking. But tweet me at evgriff42 and Allie at Alice and AJ and our overall site at TYF Official.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. We got a Tumblr blog, blah, 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 blah. Instagram. We have an Instagram.
YouTube.
And if you want to check out the TYFDC debrief every week, we air it live on Google Hangouts every Thursday, Friday, whenever the frick we feel like it. Immediately gets archived to our YouTube channel. And then I work my balls off to get it onto our iTunes feed, as well as on Google Play.
Yes.
So
that's it.
That's it. Peace be with you. Namaste. Have a good night.
Bye.